Howdy folks, and welcome back to 50 Nautical Mile Arc. In the last video we had a look at the default clouds, and in this video we're going to look at SkyMaxx Pro version 3.2. In fact, between the time I was thinking about getting SkyMaxx Pro until I actually got it, it went from 3.1 to 3.2, so that's kind of a cool surprise. And I just noticed here when I hide my mouse, my little toolbar comes up, so I have to have my mouse on the bottom. Okay, let's try not to crash. I have clouds turned off right now, and we are going to learn this together. I was going to spend, I don't know, a bunch of time on my own figuring this out, but then I realized, why not figure it out with everybody? I imagine a lot of you watching this would like that, actually. So we're going to get out of the city so our frame rates go up, and we're going to get some altitude so we can see what we're doing in the clouds. And then we're going to have a look at some of the stuff. I want to start with the Cirrus texture, work my way down, because I have the cloud set to completely clear skies right now. But obviously that's not really how it's going to be. We'll get weather there later. And then I think we'll try a little bit with real life weather in this area, because it's a clear day outside here in Minneapolis, but it's really windy. So I want to see how that gets taken. So while we're looking here, I do have the Cirrus layer forced on, and now we have real Cirrus clouds. If you watched the previous video, I talked about this a lot, how X-Plane's default Cirrus clouds are not wispy like this. They're just regular clouds, way up high, and they look nasty, but these look amazing. This right here is worth my $39, folks. Well, you know, not, I mean, there's more to it than that, you'll see, but this alone is great. Good visibility, clear skies, but you still have that Cirrus layer way up high. That is awesome. Anyway, I'm just really, whoops, I'll just pause it. Sorry, I pushed wrong button, but anyway, it's fine. I'm really enjoying this Cirrus cloud layer. And this is default settings, so let's play with this layer a bit, and then we'll see what I like. Look at our frame rates too; they're like hitting 60. Remember, recording, I lose 2 frames. I mean, this is ideal situation though. Clear skies, middle of nowhere. I better get close to 60 frames. A crappy computer will get 30 in this setup. But if we were flying over Minneapolis with my good-looking but poorly executed Minneapolis freeware scenery, then that wouldn't be the case. All right. Plugins, SkyMaxx Pro configuration. So let's change the texture to high and let's see my frame rates die. I would like to see what happens. Nope, about the same. And wow, they do look better. Did you see that? They smoothed out quite a bit. They look even more like Cirrus clouds now. Frame rates, I think I may have lost 2 or 3 frames there, but that's fine with me. So now we have, okay, so 3.0 and 3.1, you only had 3 texture sets, and now we have 6, and I really don't know what the differences are yet. So let's just look here and see if you see any changes. Oh, that's kind of cool. Can we move around? Yes, we can. Can we move this around? Nice. So that looks even more realistic. Let's see what 3 does. Are they going to come back? I guess it's randomly generating them. That looks okay. They're kind of thick. Oh, look at my frame rate. Oh, my frame rate cut in half. Let's do 4. Let's see if my frame rate gets worse. It's about the same as 3. So 3 and 4 look about the same. That looks pretty realistic, though. Oh, that looks awesome. I wonder what altitude those are. You might be able to check in other parts of X-Plane, but I'm not sure. I hope they're high enough that you'll never get to them, because in real life, when you're flying below Cirrus clouds, even if you're at cruise altitude like 34, 36,000 feet, you never get to them. They're looking good, but that really hurt my frame rates. I wonder why that would hurt my frame rate. Yeah, why are they? I wonder what's going on that is hurting the frame rate so bad. I mean, that looks great. 6 looks the best, but my frame rate's just tanked. Well, that's not so okay. That's better than 4 and 5. It came back a little bit. Let's go back to 1 and see my frame rates get back to 60. Okay, that's the same. So it must be the direction I'm looking, because that is better. I don't know. I can't tell if I like 1 or 6 the best. Let's close this and see my frame rates come back up. Now we're at 30. So I must be where I'm. Oh, see, look at. Okay. See this? Minneapolis. Minneapolis freeware scenery is hideous on frame rates. Let's get away from there. There we go. Now we're back to 55 plus. Okay. I thought something funny was going on there. All right, let's go back to 6 and see if I can keep my 55 frames. I really like number 6. Let's see what happens here. 51. So I lost a couple frames with texture number 6. Ignoring the frame rate, because we have to circle back to Minneapolis, let's see how good that looks. Yeah, 6 looks okay. You know, I think I like number 1. I think for now I'm going to use number 1. Yeah, I really do. I like number 1. I like how thin it is. Of course, I could change that 100. Well, doesn't. I guess we're not going to be looking straight up, are we? If we look in the normal distance, like so. I think I do like that the best. Good. So let's take care of our cirrus layer. That was the big thing I wanted to hit first because it was so awful with X-Plane default clouds. Okay, so this I won't crank up until we see what thicker clouds look like, and then I may crank this up. I apologize if you just pan to the left headphone there. I was leaning forward with my mic, and I have a stereo recorder. And I can have left sounds or right sounds with one microphones. I apologize. Anyway, I'm not going to worry about this stuff yet until I actually have some cloud reflections in water. I have to play with that because my water renders amazing with this graphics card and I don't lose frame rates. I might have to turn that on. Now this we can't see until I get more clouds in there. Lens flare, I'm not really a lens flare person, sorry. Maybe if I made video production type videos maybe, but real life, I guess I wear glasses. I get a pretty bad lens flare with glasses. I might play with that a little bit. Shadows, I have my shadows tweaked really carefully for maximum frames, so I might have to turn that off if we go low to the ground. We'll see. Otherwise, this blend, I may actually, well, I don't have any mountains around. This will have to be different days, different flights. I have to play with that. So let's, I don't think I made any, yeah, I already hit apply, but let's hit apply again. Okay. Now let's get some clouds going. I think you still have to go here to turn on your clouds, right? Okay, so no cirrus here, but it's forced. That's why we get our cirrus. Well, let's see what happens when I do a few cumulus clouds. I apologize. No winds right now. We'll do winds later. Let's turn that up a little bit. We'll do real world weather later too. So what happens now? There we go. All right, I noticed a low frame rate drop. Still not horrible. We're like between the clouds. They formed around us. But we have a shadow now on the plane. Wow, look at that. That's nice. It isn't just the ground. It is the aircraft too. I was thinking it was going to be the aircraft. Oh, we went too far for them to render. All right, well, these are some nice puffy clouds that have some volume to them. Unlike the default clouds that were just flat. Where's your airplane? There it is. All right. That is really neat that we have clouds on, or shadows on the airplane. Let me turn that off though and see if I get my frame rates back. I was really enjoying those 55 frames per second. Cloud shadows. I guess I gotta turn down the intensity. Oh, I see. It wasn't just shadows on the airplane, those shadows on the clouds themselves. See that? Now they don't look like rain clouds anymore. Let's do this again. How many clouds are moving? That's awesome. Whoops, I have to apply, don't I? Yeah, see, they kind of look like it's raining. What if I just turn it? Well, let's go extreme just for the heck of it, just to see what the difference is. Wow, look at the ground. That's really cool. Whoa, that's a bit much. But look at the ground. That I love my frame. So how come my frame rates are better when it's full blast and when it's halfway? That's one thing. Like, I'm not a computer programmer, so I don't really understand how some of that works. But with my video card setting, although a lot of it has to do with process true, with my setup in my gaming laptop, sometimes when I crank things, I actually get better frame rates. I'm thinking it because it uses a different type of the processing power, maybe. there's something that goes on that a lot of times I get better frames when I crank things up. And I really did in this case. That looks hideous on the airplane. But on the ground, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Let's see what happens when we're moving though. Yeah, they did drop a little bit, but... And there you can see the clouds changing on the aircraft itself. Okay, so we're flying... See, okay, this is what I like. I already saw what I like. See how we can see between the clouds? See that? See that? We just exited a cloud, and now we're going to enter another one. With the default clouds, you do not get that. You just don't get this experience. And this right here is why I wanted SkyMaxx Pro. To fly between the clouds. Just like this. You can leave one cloud, fly into another. And we still got those shadows on the ground. That is... I was not expecting that. I've never seen anybody else on YouTube play with the cloud shadows like this. Look at that. I mean, that is as realistic as it gets. To see those cloud shadows on the ground, like, I can't believe it. Right here. This is amazing. This is exactly what I wanted. And I haven't even finished playing with it yet. And my frame rate's under the 30s. High 20s to 30s. Remember to add 2 because I'm recording. Wow. You can just fly among puffs. Now, the draw distance is low though. So, I still wanted to play with those shadows. Although I really like how dark that is on the ground. That is what it really looks like. So at first I thought it was kind of intense on the aircraft, but if you look at the ground, I mean, that's really what it looks like. So let's keep that. Look at my frame rate's hitting 40. I was in the 40s for a second there. Depends where I look. My water, by the way, is full blast too. And I get better frame rates with water full blast versus turn down a couple. Let's go back here. Okay. This must be how much is free, because I've got a 6 gig card. That has to be how much is free. Okay. I want to keep that full. I'm not going to play with that. I wanted to change... Okay, area covered. Now, this should increase how far out they go, right? Or is that something else? Let's see what happens. It's taking a while to reset. You can tell, because there you go. No, that is distance. That is draw distance. Okay. So I don't think this is going to affect frame rate. I think this is going to affect the video we have. It didn't change anything. That stayed the same. Okay, I did lose 2 frames per second. Whatever. Okay, so now we can see further out. You know, we don't have to see out forever because we just... Unless we're really... I guess if we're really, really high, we might want to increase the distance. So there's some shadows on the aircraft. I don't think there's a draw distance here. Did I miss it? I mean, there's a visibility, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about draw distance. Yeah, there's nothing here. My draw distance for rendering everything is already maximum. It's been maximum since the day I got X-Plane, so I'm not going to touch that. Plus, I often crash when I try to adjust settings when I'm recording. Okay, so that's a better draw distance, except when we get higher in the air, though, I have a feeling that is going to not be far enough. So let's get up here a little bit, and we'll see what happens when we're above the clouds. Alright, we're coming up on 23,000 feet or so. I'm not going to go much higher, because even when I fly the 727, I don't go much higher than this, because my flight's usually so short. And the reason for that, in case you've ever wondered, is I just don't have time. I don't have time to do flights longer than an hour and a half or so. That's due to real life. I don't fly till the kids go to bed, and then my children and wife are my priority. So once kids are in bed, I want to spend time with my wife as well, so I just don't have time to fly. So that is a long reason, or the long answer, why we're going to stop at 23,000 feet, because I just would never go much higher than this in my own flying. And that draw distance looks pretty good. I'm going to increase it a little bit more. Our frame rates now, of course, are ridiculously high for my setup. And look at all those clouds on the ground. The shadows, I mean. That is just... Wow, I didn't know that was an option. everybody else I've seen on YouTube has it turned off, so I've never seen that. I mean, that's really what it looks like. If you've been in a commercial jet and you see the cloud shadows, I mean, it is almost pitch black under the clouds in real life, so that's amazing. So let's go back here. Let's crank this up even more, because I can. And as long as I don't get a frame rate drop, I don't care, because I know I have enough video memory for it. Let's see. We did lose a few frames, like 1 or 2 frames. But I don't care. Let's see what happens where we're actually moving, though. Okay, so now the cloud distance overruns the render distance. You can see where it hasn't rendered out here. But that is okay with me. Alright, I'm just going to let this level off on its own. Again, this is the Aerobask Eclipse 2.0, the Eclipse 550 2.0. I'm just using a freeware aircraft, so I don't have to worry about engine management and all this stuff. Those clouds are almost a little too many clouds, though, for me, but we'll see. Alright, where are we at? 24,000. Yeah, let's level off here. 25,000. Alright, let's keep playing, see what we can do here. Alright, so I don't know, I kind of liked I liked how the clouds looked when they weren't as far out. But anyway, we'll mess with that. I don't think this is going to change yet because I don't have an overcast layer turned on, or maybe it will. Okay, that's for overcast layer, which we don't have turned on yet, which is what I thought, but that's what I thought was going to happen. Okay, let's turn that back one thing at a time. Okay, let's see. Let's see what happens when we go scattered. Let's see what changes here, because that was quite a bit of clouds already for a few. Let's see, scattered. Yeah, now the frame rate went down. That's what I expected. I think I'm going to... First, I'm going to make sure that's still 10%. Whoops. Oh, wait, that's in my other setting thing. Okay, hopefully I won't crash, because a lot of times I'll crash after getting out of the screen. In case you're wondering what settings I'm running, you can pause it here and see what I'm doing. I guess I never thought of that if you want to. Let's look at some other stuff while I'm here. This is what I was talking about, though. Alright, hopefully we won't crash. Oh, good. That's never happened before. Good. Alright, you know what? Now that I've turned on more clouds, let's turn this down a little bit. Oh, frame rate shot up once I finished drawing things in. Alright, let's go to broken and see what happens. Give it a second to catch up, then the frame rate will shoot up. There we go. Frame rate's up. Let's fly a little bit and see what happened here. Alright. That looks pretty awesome. See, okay, here we go. This is what I was talking about now. See the cirrus clouds up here? Oops. See, like, we'll never get to that level. It's just above us. That's what I was talking about. Quite a few of them, though. So we're still in the 30s for frames. The clouds go all the way out as far as we can see. We got the shadows on the ground, just like real life. Alright, let's crank them up again and see what happens. Overcast. Now I'm curious to see what's going to happen here. It's going to take a while to draw this in, I think. Alright, so here we are. We have our truly overcast. Well, not truly. There's a little bit broken down there. Oops, I closed the window before I started talking, didn't I? Sorry. So, this is broken stratiform. And it's broken, obviously. And our frame rate, depends where we look, is going between 35, and I had almost a 50 in here when I was looking one way. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Alright, so here we go. Now what I want to do is I want to go below this cloud layer and see what's below it. Now I must be missing something because I've seen other people with this turned on, and it looks way better than what I have here. So there's something I'm missing, which we'll figure out in a second. So yes, I have lens flare off. Still looks nice though. I'm still going to play around with those 6 texture options for the Cirrus clouds off camera. I'm not going to worry about it right now. Let's pay attention to what we're doing. Still want to head kind of northish to get away from the city. Looks really nice, but I know I can make it look better somehow. I just got to figure out what I'm missing. This is the type of thing I talked about before, where, or I think it's a previous video, where you get above the clouds, take out a commercial jet, even the 727, which I love, and then you fly around above the clouds, VOR, and then you drop below the clouds right after you pick up the ILS, and boom, there's your runway in front of you. And even though there's not much to see in between, that is such a rewarding feeling to fall out of the clouds, and there you are, right where you're supposed to be. I wonder if the shadowing is what is making those clouds look funny. There we go. So now we're below an overcast layer in the shadow, but there aren't any clouds around, which is okay, although I know there's a way to turn on, I don't know, some stratus clouds, I guess, even though you're under the clouds. Not sure how to do that. Not Lake Mille Lacs. I don't even know where we are. We're just heading north. Doesn't look like Lake Mille Lacs though. So you can see the sun on that water. So that looks better the lower and lower we get. Not sure why yet I'm not getting clouds under the clouds. Other samples I've seen, you have your layer of puffy clouds here, and then you have your overcast layer. And what are we at? We're at 6,000 feet though, so maybe it's my settings. Maybe I got the wrong things here. Maybe this should be overcast, and this should be cumulus, or whatever they call it. Let's see what this does. Let's see if this screws everything up. Oh dear, don't crash. There we go. I had the wrong layer turned to overcast. That looks better. That looks better. Those clouds though with the shadowing do look pretty ominous. Our frame rates are good still. There we go. Okay. Now that I figured that out, how to get my multiple layers of clouds, let's get back up here and see. Oh, that's a nice overcast layer. In fact, I can even do this. I can even turn these guys off and just keep that. They're still there. They're still there. What's that all about? Alright. Oh, now they're going away. Now they're going away. Can I do 2 overcast layers just because? Let's be obnoxious a second. Whoa. That's cool. You see all the, whoops. See how the color changed? That's interesting. Let's hop outside and see if we have 2 overcast layers. Just because we can. We do. Look at. Someone who knows weather is going to have to tell me, is it possible in real life to have 2 overcast layers? I don't know. I honestly have no idea. Can you have overcast and then a blank part and then overcast again? Anyway, that looked kind of cool. Here we go. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to go above these clouds, and then we're going to mess with them as though we're taking a commercial flight above the clouds. Alright, we just popped out of the overcast layer, and it still looks kind of funny. it's not what I'm expecting to see. So let's play with this a bit. Okay, let's see what this does. This must be where it shines down through the... Yeah, we probably have to be under the clouds to see that. That's probably where you see the sun shining through the clouds. Let's keep that on, though. It killed my frame rates, though. It took off like 8 frames and we're above the clouds. It must be worse when you're above the clouds. Let's turn this down a tad just because I want to. Ah! That made it look a little better, actually. That was interesting. I'm not going to mess with these, I don't think. Nobody else does. Okay. Now this will... That will make it dense particles, which... I don't know if I would ever use this because it's so packed full of clouds and it kills your frame rate so poorly. I think you might as well just be better off going broken there. I mean, yeah, broken stratiform there. I think this is my favorite though, the sparse particles. If I go back to here, so I have overcasts here at 18,000 feet with sparse particles at 18,000 feet. I think this is my favorite. So what are we at here? 22,000 feet. Yeah, this is nice. I think this is my favorite setting. Let's go down. Oh, wow, look at that. Look at that. I could, except for the aircraft here with these low resolution textures, I could almost pass this off as not a sim. Wow. This right here is what I've been looking for. See how we're flying between the clouds. 22,000 feet. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Those shadows on the ground. Alright, let's go back below here. Look at this. Whoa, they're the God rays. See them? Right here. And let's see what that does to my frame rate. I really like that, but if it's killing my frame rate, I don't. Let's see what my frame rate would be without them. So we're at about 22 to 25. Let's see what happens without them. It has to catch back up. Oh wow, yeah, that killed them quite a bit. But that looked pretty awesome though. I don't know. I really like. Oh, well, we kind of have a little bit. No, not really. It definitely made. Well, actually, now I'm down to 22 anyway. Let's turn them back on and see what happens here. Can I do this while I'm not? Oh yeah, there we go. I'm just gonna lock up the sim, and then it should release it here in a second. Let's let that catch back up. Well, let's leave them on for now, and if I really don't like the frame rate, I can okay, I actually want to turn around because I want to turn the cloud shadows on water and see what happens when I go over Lake Mille Lacs. I also want to get below this layer and turn on the lower layer of clouds. See what happens when we have double layers of clouds between frame rate and how it looks. It's pretty dark below the clouds though with a dense layer on, isn't it? Gotta be getting close to the lake. Where is it? There it is. Wow. It's dark with those shadows on. That's how it should be. Okay, so the water looks hideous. So let's turn this on and see if that looks any better and if I can keep my frame rates. Nice, my frame rates went up. Huh. Still looks hideous though. Because it's so dark. But you can still see the clouds though. See the clouds over the water and the shadows. Alright, so those shadows look amazing above the clouds. But they look kinda too much of a good thing below the clouds. See, now they're gone. Oh no, they did come back. Frames didn't change either. I guess as long as the shadows are on, it's gonna... That's what'll affect your frame rate now, how dark they are, maybe. So there you see the reflections on the water. Wow, those shadows, okay. So reflections on water really don't mean anything if you have the cloud shadows on, because the shadows just kind of override the clouds. So let's... I don't know, I like that all the way up. That's pretty intense. Let's see what happens here. That's a little better, I think. And let's see. I think that's what we'll do. We'll compromise. Because when you're way up high looking at the shadows on the ground, they look amazing full blast, but maybe it's too much of a good thing. That still looks pretty realistic. And I assume the shadows change as you get later in the day, right? Oh yes. Oh yes. And earlier in the day. Oh, it just flips them from noon to evening, see that? Alright, I've turned cloud reflections on water back on, and it really does help a lot when you don't have too many clouds. So now let's turn on some bad weather and see what happens with bad weather. Do we want to do severe, or should we just do heavy for now? Let's just do heavy. Let's turn down the visibility. Let's keep this the same. And let's see what happens. We'll flying right into a storm. So let's see what happens. So we still have our overcast layer. Kind of an overcast layer. No, I don't see an overcast layer anymore. We got our puffy clouds. Whew. Wow, that kills frames, but it's building storms and knows how to build storms. Yikes. Okay, I won't be doing that too often. That just slaughtered everything. Oh, jeez. Okay, so we're flying into... Wow. So we're flying into a heavy storm. Not severe, but heavy. Oh, that's cool, though. This is the other thing I was hoping for. See how we flew out of one storm? And we're going to fly into the next one? And there's actually a break in clouds here. You see this? Plus, you get some sun in between. Good, now my frame rate's back. Okay, must have just been trying to catch up. Now we're going to fly into another one. This is really something. Look down at our radar, and we're going to fly right into a storm. So while we're doing that, and trying not to crash, what do we have here? So we're still unbroken for the overcast. Nothing changed there. Nothing really changed there. Guess we can turn that down a little bit. No winds yet because I haven't done that yet. Let's update that again. Force it to another update. And now we're in the storm. Oh, okay, this isn't... Oh, I'm gonna get sick. Hang on. Okay. Let's go below cloud line. Actually, you know what? It only goes up to 22,000. Okay, fine. This is going to work too. Alright, I need my de-icer on. It's acting funny. Can't get that. Click there. Got it. There we go. Okay. Okay. Stop. Stop. Oh, I'm getting so sick. Okay. Oofda. Not quite severe. Just too heavy. And let's just do that and see what happens. Oh, it changed all this stuff. Hang on, let me go back. Let's see how it interprets that. Okay, there's some lightning like through the wing. This is nice. Look how full these clouds are. How are the shadows on the ground? Must be where the sun is. I don't see any shadow. There are the shadows. Sort of. Oh, there we go. There's a storm right next to us. So the clouds are casting shadows on themselves. I don't know what happened to my shadows on the ground. I know they're there. Maybe it's the weather. Let that regenerate. Again, if it weren't for the textures of the aircraft, I could almost pass this off as not being a sim. Oh, now it's going to rain again. Oh, then it stopped. Then it's going to rain again. We got some turbulence. Ooh, hear the hail? That's the hail I was talking about. Alright, so if we go back here and turn off the storms, as awesome as they are, clear and scattered, we'll have just a few clouds. Just a few. Have to update though because those are our storm clouds. There we go. There our storm clouds went away. Man, this makes me only want to fly in storms. That was so cool. But then the problem is that we have to be careful about the aircraft we choose. Where did my shadows go on the ground? You see that? The cloud shadows are completely gone. They were there earlier, you all saw it. Alright, so as I was playing around here, I lost my Cirrus layer. See that? And I lost my shadows on the ground. So I'm going to change this, apply, and then put it back on and see what happens. Cirrus back on, and shadows back on, and apply. Still didn't bring them back. How about up here? Nope, Cirrus layer's gone too. So that's interesting. So I don't know if it got mad at me and my RAM is full because I've been doing all these changes, or what. But something isn't right. So I'm going to reboot the sim, and I'll be right back. Alright folks, I restarted the sim, and now I gotta get back up in the air. And I just did this off camera. I wasn't going to record until I was in the air. And I had an awesome bird strike, and I crashed right on the runway, and I missed it. So I'm recording now in case it happens again, but I doubt it will because it just happened. It was right here. Hit a bunch of birds and crashed. Anyway, so we're back in the air, and as you can see, my Cirrus layer is back. So it did take a reboot to get that back. We are going to turn north and get out of this city so that we can enjoy some better frame rates here. I'm also going to turn some clouds back on so that we can see if our shadows also turn back on. I'll give it a second to catch up here. Yep, there we go. I saw some. There we go. So we were playing around with this so much we lost our ground shadows and our Cirrus layer, but they're both back now. It just took a reboot. That's what I thought it would take. We still gotta get out of the city here. frame rate's come back. So last thing I want to do is I want to turn on real world weather. I think we can do that when we're already in the sim here. And shouldn't be a problem. I'm just going to go over my settings one more time, because I don't want to play with these settings every time I fly. This is pretty much how I want it to look, I think. I like it all so far. Especially these ground shadows from the clouds. That's just amazing. Alright, so that looks good. Now we're just going to try real world weather, which I've actually never done. Yes, I did in the sim once, now that I think about it. I don't have... What is the SkyMaxx Weather Max thing? I don't know. Download weathers from... Download right now. That it? Oh, it'll download again in an hour. Okay. Alright, let's see what changes here. Like I said, here in Minneapolis right now, it's clear skies and a very windy day. So let's see. There we go. There's our clear skies. And do you see the plane bouncing around? Clear skies and a very windy day. Just like it's supposed to be. Cool. I was hoping that we'd have some clouds anyway to play with, but nice. Alright. I'm not going to take the time to search a map and see where there's real clouds and storms and then jump to that airport. I could do that. But, well, there's the weather updated on us. Looks like there's some clouds now, wherever we are. This is nice. I've heard and read and believe that SkyMaxx Pro works best with real-world weather turned on. Otherwise, you just have to... As you can see, I could play with those settings for an hour before I choose a flight. I mean, there's so much you can do. It looks so good. But real-world weather will do a blend of everything. So I can choose a puffy cloud layer, I can choose an overcast layer, I can overcast layer, I can move them up and down, I can have dual layers that we found out. But real-world weather will mix and match and do it all for you. And this looks fantastic. So I think my next challenge for myself, my next personal challenge, is to fly with real weather turned on and learn how to read the weather on SkyVector, reading the barbs, before I fly, so I know which runways to use and things like that. Oh, this looks great. We got it all now. Cirrus, clouds auto-generated, shadows on the ground, and my frame rate suffered a little bit with real weather turned on, of course, because there's a lot going on, but doesn't bother me too much. Although I admit having 50 frames was kind of fun, but with real weather turned on, I don't think I'm going to get that. Anyway, hope you liked it. Different kind of flight today. Hope you enjoyed learning SkyMaxx Pro version 3.2 with me. The next video, we're going to go back to regular flights, A to B, things like that. And hope you enjoyed the flight. Hope you enjoyed the time with me. Please subscribe, share with your friends. Hope you enjoy this channel. I would like to grow this channel very strong as quickly as possible. So give me a subscribe, give me a like, and we'll catch you on the next one.